What's going on, guys? Good morning. It is Wednesday, March 3rd. Pre-market time here, about 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. I am out in California, so early morning for me. I just kind of wanted to talk about Rocket RKT a little bit here and see what's going on kind of in the pre-market, see what kind of action, what kind of price action that we're getting so far. Okay. If you watched last night's video, I kind of spoke about a couple of levels on RKT. And basically, I broke down a couple of these levels in these channels here. So it looks like pre-market RKT is being sold off a little bit. Okay, we closed at 41.60 and we are at 37.26. Last night in after hours, it kind of dipped down to 38. So what I'm really watching, and I touched on a little bit in last night's video, is a couple of levels that I'm going to be watching here. So we are at 37.40 currently in pre-market. Is this a dead cat or is this a dead cat bounce? We don't know yet. Is this just some people profit taking? RKT went all the way up here to 48.64 yesterday, so we could just have some people getting a little shaky and trying to lock in some profits right now pre-market in fear of a bigger dip coming on RKT. Do I think that we are going to dip down lower? I don't know, maybe. But this is one of the levels here that I wanted to talk about here. This $37, $35 area, between that. What we could be doing here is we could be coming down here to the 20 SMA at about $35 here. And as soon as market opens, we could get a nice strong bounce back up and then a continuation run from yesterday. What could also happen here is that a lot more profit taking goes on and we actually break down through this level here and start to test this $28 level. Do I think that it's going to drop all the way down to $28 today? I don't know, but I don't think so. Okay, what I think is maybe we see 35, 33, and if there is some action and a heavy some heavy momentum and some hype still behind this train, I think that it continues to squeeze. Okay, we got to wait for market open to happen and see what the price action is looking like. But we could very well just be getting a bounce here at around 37, 36, $35 area. If we do show some strength and there is some volume that's coming in and there's a lot of action that's going on, this would definitely be a good place to pick up, in my opinion. And I probably will be scooping some up here. I don't know, maybe taking some contracts along the way. If it opens up and it continues to break through this level here and we continue to work and wiggle our way down, I will be keeping a close eye on it, as well as the SPY and the Qs. If we look at the Qs, if we look at the Qs right now, I also spoke about a couple of important levels that we need to be watching for on the Qs going forward to see if we are going to be kind of in a more bullish or bearish context. We closed yesterday at $318. We are resting right here at the 50-day and the 5-day moving average. If we begin to sort of break down this channel here and start opening up below 318, 317, we could be working our way back down to this 312, 311 area here that has kind of acted as support the last 1 to 3 days out of the 6 trading sessions that we've previously had here. If we do drop down on the Qs below 310 and start breaking that level down, I do think that we touch 305. So just be aware of that in your trades. Some of these growth stocks, they like to sort of follow the Qs and the SPY as well. But we also could just be getting ready to make a bounce right here and then start working our way up and have a red pre-market to a green market open. That is something that I'm going to be watching for. If the market is strong and we do bounce up, off the 318 level, after 316 level that we're currently sitting at pre-market, and we start to make strides up, you can expect a lot of these momentum plays and a lot of these tech stocks to also follow along with that. Okay, another stock that I'm going to be watching for today that is sort of getting some traction on social media is UWMC. Okay, so it closed yesterday at $9.13. As you can see, this thing has been getting hammered since the middle of December. Just absolutely 60 some odd days of just going down. And I think the market is just kind of tired of selling. And that's what happens. Sellers become tired and buyers become tired at times. And that's when you get a shift in momentum. We are getting a nice pop here at this lower level. And yesterday was up, I believe it was a couple bucks here from the lows. So a couple of things that I'm watching for. Is this going to be a strong momentum play today here? I believe that any level over 1080, if we can bust through this with some power and strength and momentum, and there's volume behind that, I do think that this can run a little bit. So some areas that I am watching here is definitely going to be $10.75. If we can break that, I might be looking to get in and scalping a little bit on the way up and seeing if it's going to back trace and test this as a level of support, which is previous level of resistance here. I do currently have a very small position, only 25 shares, just kind of a starter position, just kind of get my feet wet. Let me see what the price action is doing. I will be setting a tight stop loss probably at around $7.75 if this thing decides to back trace and break down these levels and it's just false hope. I will be getting out early and then reevaluating once probably we break that $10.70 mark. But that is definitely something that I'm going to be looking to add to with some size, maybe 100, 200, 300 shares at that point, if we can show some sort of strength busting through $10.70. With the way that the market has been going, guys, there's no rush to start trading right away at 6:30 or 6:30 p.m. or Eastern time. There's no rush. I would let the first hour, 30 minutes pass by, kind of see what the price action is looking like, what the market is looking like, what are the Qs doing, what is the SPY doing, and then kind of take trades from there. You don't want to get caught on a big green open and then everything sort of sells off later in the day, just as well as you don't want to get in on or not get in on a big dip in the morning and the market recovers and we start making a push for higher highs later on in the day. Just keep an eye on your levels. Be smart about your trades. Again, what trades you decide to get into, just look at the charts. See the channels that the stock is currently in and try to make the best decision. You don't just want to jump in on something because it's running up $10 in the pre-market and you don't want to get caught all the way at the top holding the bag. Something that also is very interesting to me is GME, GameStop. Even through everything that's been going on, GameStop, since it had the big run up here on 225, is sort of been holding. It's been holding the 5-day, it's been holding the 10-day, it's been holding the 20-day SMA. And this thing had that big spike where, it got halted going into the close, and then after hours just kind of skyrocketed to 181 and then kind of settled around 150, 140. And then the next day, obviously, it kind of hovered around, anywhere from dropped all the way down as low as to 100, but kind of hovered around this 117 to 125, 130 area. It does look like there is some resistance at about 130 to 135 area. That does seem to be a place where it is finding some resistance and then getting kicked back down. 117 is also acting as support right now. And then you probably have the 5-day moving average here, which is 107. If you are looking to get into GameStop, just kind of see what the market is doing and make your own best decision on that. I only currently have 6 shares in GameStop. It's just something that I'm messing around with. It's, holding for a rainy day, not really expecting much. Will not really get caught holding the bag. I mean, if this thing wants to drop to, I don't know, $70, $75, I might just cut my position and part ways with GameStop. Won't be taking too much of a big loss there. However, if GameStop decides to squeeze again or gamma squeeze and this thing decides to get some momentum and it goes up $200, $300, $400, $500, there's a lot of potential reward there for not a lot of risk that I am doing. But what I do like about GameStop is that even with the market being as choppy as it is continuously holding this level here over the 5-day SMA. This thing could just be coiling up and getting ready to explode. I mean, the short interest is not as high as it was on the first short squeeze. However, there is still a lot of volume and a lot of shares that are being traded with GameStop. And this thing could just absolutely explode. There is people on the options market, the options flow. I mean, you've got guys coming in for $150, $200, and $240 calls weeklies. So, I mean, these guys, are putting up big money in bets that this thing is going to be over 140 or 150, 200. We got to kind of keep our eyes on GameStop, and I'd rather have a few shares and catch the run than to be chasing something at $500 in a week. So that's the only reason why. If I can kind of see that we can kind of reclaim this $120 area, if we can, really push back past 130, I might take a couple more shares along the way up just to, scalp a little bit more profits. Nothing too serious. Definitely not all of my portfolio for sure, but 135 is a level that I will be looking to see if GameStop can crack. If we can crack that and 135 then becomes a new area of support, I definitely would feel a lot better and more confident about GameStop and where it is heading. Right now, it's kind of just chilling. It's kind of just consolidating. It's just been resting. The market's been going up and down and up and down, and GameStop's sort of just been holding, which is kind of actually a good thing. And do not sleep on GameStop. Do not sleep on the fact that the run is over here, because we don't know. I mean, in my opinion, I personally think that it's a lot bigger than the retail traders that CNBC and the news is trying to make it out to be. I do believe that this is a battle between hedge funds and big money players going back and forth. There's definitely something going on here. I do think that, I think that there's something bigger going on here. I definitely think that this is something to be watching out for, and something that if you do have a little bit of money to set aside for a rainy day and perhaps throw it on a lottery ticket, hey, pick your best entry and then just let it ride. That's about it for right now, what I'm looking at. Nothing else is really moving and shaking too much for me on my watch list. I definitely am watching Shopify. I like the level that it's at currently. Facebook's been taking a freaking pounding, and I'm on Facebook. I'm looking for a 254 break to the downside for a potential short play. The Qs, I am definitely watching. Tesla is also in bearish context right now. If you're a long-term investor, this is a great time to pick up. If you are a long-term investor, if you are a swing trader or a day trader, maybe not so much. You might want to find some more levels to really keep an eye on here. But with Tesla, it's been taking a beating. Tesla really bearish for me over 742. Right now, it's kind of on a push to the downside. If we look at the daily chart here, we're pushing down to the 100-day moving average at 631. We've touched it one time here, tested, bounced back up, started to push back down again, almost tested it again at $660, pushed back up. Then we had the really green day, made a push all the way back up to 851 before falling again. So right now, we've got a lot of walls intraday for Tesla to start breaking through before it starts to see some more bullish context. I really think over $800, Tesla is looking really bullish again. But right now, it's not looking so much here. So the level that I'm watching is 683 on Tesla. If it starts breaking down to level of 683, I might be looking to get in for a scalp to the downside. 640 would be my first target. Will I stay in the whole way? I don't know. It just depends on how fast the price action is moving. But definitely if we start building below 683, 680, I will be looking to scalp some on the downside and then kind of sitting back and watching to see, do we come all the way back down and touch the 100-day SMA at around $631 and make a bounce back up? Then there's also room to play on the bounce up. Now, if you're a day trader or a swing trader, just because it touches down at this level here and makes a bounce up does not mean that it's coming all the way back up to $790. The first play in my book would be from if it does come down and touch the $640 area and make a bounce up, we are looking from $640 all the way up to $696, and in between there will be some chop. So between those levels is where I would be looking to play my first play on Tesla. But right now, definitely we want to see, does it start breaking down 670, 679, 680? If it does and it starts to build below, we could also be looking at some more moves to the downside here, as we can see that it's touched 1, 2, 3, 4 times in the past 4 days. This is a key area here around $680 short term for Tesla. Let me come back to the Qs and see if anything else has changed. Does not look like anything else has changed. We look like we are just teeter-tottering around this $316, $317 area here. But as you can see for the Qs, we have a ton of supply zones that we have to push through before we become really bullish and continue to move forward. Again, if we do break down that $318 level, let's get the daily chart here. If we do begin to break down, if we do begin to break down this $312 area, 311, and we start to build below, 305 is the next area of support, major area of support that I would be looking at here. Hopefully, if we do touch 312, 311, we get a nice bounce back up and we start to sort of reclaim the 318 area. But until we close above 324, we are going to be stuck in this channel between 312 and 318 and 318 to 312. So that's just something to keep an eye at. You don't want to go super long on something that is tech heavy, and we're busting down this level here. So always keep an eye on the Qs, because if you are invested into a Facebook and Apple and things like that, and you're going super long because we're at a dip here and the Qs are breaking down levels of 312 and touching 305 and starting to break below 305, and you're just not paying attention and going super long on Apple, for example, you could be on the wrong side of the trade. So just keep an eye on the levels that are going on here. Not too much of a sell-off. 316. We have to see the market's opening up here in 15 minutes. We have to see where this is going to open up and where does it fall and where does it bounce? Where does it recover? So those are some of the things that you need to keep your eye on going forward. I hope everyone has a good trading session today. I hope everybody makes some money. Just be patient is the main thing. Be patient. Do not rush into trades. Just because the market is open does not mean that you have to trade the market. And just because you are super bullish does not mean that you cannot make money also to the downside. Take your plays accordingly. Play the market that the market has given you. And until next time, guys, have a great one.